Okay, well, the meltdown happened. All right. And look, we're going to have to address this because right now, whether we want to talk about them or not, Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. have gone through the first hurdle, the Senate committees, to go on and have their positions voted for in the United States Senate. And as we've broken down, there are 53 Republican senators. Republicans control the majority in the United States Senate. Okay, so there's 53 Republican senators. There are 45 Democrat senators, and there are 2 quote-unquote independent Democrat senators, air quotes. That adds up to 100, with the tie-breaking vote potentially being J.D. Vance, the vice president of these United States. And so that's where Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. are going to walk onto in regards to getting into their roles of the Trump administration. And I, for one, say, fine, great. But of course, Democrats want to put on the whole song and dance, most notably Bernie, that cuck, that nutless wonder, and Senator Elizabeth Warren. They want to speak out and scream out from the rooftop. So let's go ahead and go from the beginning. Let's go ahead and go back in time just a little bit to February 3rd of 2025. I know we're not time traveling too far away, but let's go and pull up this video here.
Here we're doing very well with nominations. We'll see, but it looks like we're doing very well with nominations.
Mr. President, have you been involved with calling senators who had some concerns about Tulsi Gabbard? Or
yes.
RFK?
Yeah, I've gotten great response. And they want to do what's right, and we've had a good response. I think we'll do well. We have great people like this. We have here.
So, look, Trump made some promises, and those two definitely expended a lot of their political capital to be part of Trump and his administration. There's going to be a fallout, of course. There's always going to be a fallout. And let's face it, the party lines are going to be the Democrats are going to deny everything to Trump. Republicans are going to give everything to Trump. That's just how the game operates. All right. And we'll see what kind of impact RFK Jr. or Tulsi Gabbard can have on this Trump administration. Am I ever hopeful for positive things to happen? Well, the way things are turning out, not so much. But we can always see hope in one hand, crap in the other, and see which one fills up faster. Join us as Heartlands Media does a special coverage on it. Yes, I am beyond furious. I am angry. But of course, there was a response. But real quick, Tulsi Gabbard did give her response in regards to being part of the new Trump administration. I think it's only fair that we hear it from her. She recently posted this video on her YouTube channel. And look, I think it's naive to think that you can actually change the intelligence community. I mean, after all, NSA, CIA, FBI, they're all spying in on us. We all know that journalists and whistleblowers have been detained, most notably under Democrats, of course. Trump didn't do any favors about his action, didn't do free speech or independent media or journalism any favors in regards for going after Julian Assange. But here was Tulsi Gabbard's response.
I'm honored and grateful to President Trump for his trust and confidence in nominating me to serve our country as the Director of National Intelligence at a time when trust in the intelligence community, unfortunately, is at an all-time low. Chuck Schumer admitted a few years ago, quote, "You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you." For too long, faulty, inadequate, or weaponized intelligence have led to costly failures and the undermining of our national security and God-given freedoms enshrined in the Constitution. The American people elected Donald Trump as their president not once but twice, and yet the FBI and intelligence agencies were politicized by his opponents to undermine his presidency and falsely portray him as a puppet of Putin. Title I of FISA was used illegally to obtain a warrant to spy on Trump campaign advisor Carter Page, using a Clinton campaign-funded false dossier as their so-called evidence. Biden campaign advisor Tony Blinken was the impetus for the 51 former senior intelligence officials' letter dismissing Hunter Biden's laptop as disinformation specifically to help Biden win the election. Former DNI James Clapper lied to this committee in 2013, denying the existence of programs that facilitated the mass collection of millions of Americans' phone and internet records, yet was never held accountable. Under John Brennan's leadership, the CIA abused its power to spy on Congress, to dodge oversight, lied about doing it until he was caught, and yet has never been held responsible. Personally, just 24 hours after I criticized Kamala Harris and her nomination, I was placed on a secret domestic terror watch list called Quiet Skies. Sadly, there are more examples. The bottom line is this: this must end.
I want to believe her. I really do. But, you know, I've been lied to enough. And maybe there might be reform, but I do this. Look at this, folks. Reform. We're still going to be spied in on. I mean, you got the influence of big tech and social media. You got decade or more than a couple of decades of us being and our information being taken away from us. And to be clear, yes, we do know that there is that Edward Snowden did tweet out, hey, more or less telling Tulsi, hey, throw me under the bus, whatever. But I can't put my stock in politicians. I can't put my trust in the politicians or people. It has to come down to regular citizens now speaking out against this. The system is inherently sick. There's no reforming something that cannot be reformed, especially it's been like this and running like this for decades. And as we did cover, yes, the CIA is offering buyouts to its employees, but it's going to be retooled into something else to benefit Trump. Now, of course, with all of this happening, Trump did get a major win. He did get a major victory. There's no denying it. But because of this major win, especially with RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard passing past the Senate committee, you could hear it now, right now. A lot of vote blue, or no matter who people crying. They're crying like little punks because they're upset at this. But because of this, there's going to be a consequence to this election. There's going to be a consequence going into the 2026 midterm election. That is, hey, folks, looks like there's going to be some fun primaries to talk about in 2026.
Out of their way to protect their corrupt cronies, and we're not going to stop. So anything you want to say on that, you could have the final word.
100%. No, we're going to have a people's primary. That's what I'm calling it right now. It's the people's primary. And we're going to take ownership of this primary for what its intended purpose was, is to put forward challengers that unseat these people that have no business and who clearly do not represent our interests.
And out of their way to protect.
Now, we'll see what happens. But, of course, you have to hear it from the Democrats, too. All right? Because Bernie and Warren want to weigh in. Okay? Here's what Bernie, the nutless wonder, had to say. Gee, Bernie, way to put on a fantastic WWE show. There are a few issues that Mr. Kennedy and I agree on. We agree on the need to stop the ultra-processed food industry from getting our kids addicted to unhealthy and dangerous products that cause obesity, diabetes, and other life-threatening diseases. If you got the diabetes reference, I love you. We agree on the need to lower the outrageous prices we pay for prescription drugs in this country. Oh, Jesus Christ, Bernie, shut the hell up. Okay. We agree that we should stop Big Pharma from being allowed to flood the airwaves with advertising. But despite those agreements, I cannot in good conscience vote for someone who denies and will dilute our public health protection, sow distrust in science, and oversee massive cuts to healthcare programs for low-income people, nursing home care, or seniors, and long-term care for people with disabilities, like your friend Joe Biden did, right, Bernie? Or your fantastic friends in the Democrat Party, right, Bernie? Oh, wait, no. Now is okay to be combative. Here's what the cuck also writes. Despite that Kennedy believes the overwhelming consensus within the scientific community is clear, vaccines are safe and effective. He was being critical about the COVID vaccine, but also he didn't say all vaccines, all right? Not the rare defense of RFK Jr., okay? Not all of it, but hold on, here we go. Over the past 50 years, vaccines have saved lives of over 150 million people throughout the world and reduced the infant mortality rate by 40%. Vaccines have not, as Mr. Kennedy has claimed, poisoned an entire generation of American children. Okay, well, there's a lot of people right now who are sick with the shot to happen, but okay, whatever. Vaccines do not, as Mr. Kennedy has claimed, cause autism. More than a dozen rigorous scientific studies from around the world involving hundreds of thousands of children have proven that. The polio vaccine has not killed, as Mr. Kennedy has claimed, more people than polio ever did. The scientific community has found that polio vaccine has saved 1.5 million lives and prevented more than 20 million people from becoming paralyzed since 1988. The COVID vaccine was not, as Mr. Kennedy has claimed, the deadliest vaccine ever made. How do you feel about that, about Bernie? What? Okay, Bernie. The scientific community has found that COVID vaccine saved over 3 million lives, prevented over 18 million hospitalizations in the United States alone. So, also, I could read a little bit more, but hold on. Why not have you listen to the avatar of 2025? I guess you're Warren.
What if I told you that polio could make a comeback in 2025? Donald Trump has nominated RFK Jr., a man who claimed, quote, there is no vaccine that is safe and effective. That's the guy who wants to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. Did you catch that? No vaccine. He said that the polio vaccine, quote, killed many, many more people than polio ever did. I mean, come on here. RFK has told us not to worry. That doesn't really mean he's anti-vaccine.
Snake emojis in the chat. Where are you at?
But he spent an entire career spreading baseless conspiracy theories under the guise of protecting children. And he's made millions of dollars in the process. His actions speak louder than words. And time again, RFK Jr. has shown us who he is. He's an anti-science conspiracy peddler who is willing to gamble with American lives. We can't have that guy in charge of our healthcare.
Mm-hmm. And what are you going to do about it? Oh, yeah, nothing. Just like, oh, gee, Charlie G. Willikers. Oh, no, we gotta stop Trump. You know what? RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard being part of Trump's administration doesn't surprise me. And it doesn't shake me to my core because you do realize that Trump had backups, right? He only gave them special treatment because they played a very huge, significant role in helping his campaign and push forward to beat the Democrats in 2024. And not to mention, okay, folks, especially in the vote blue, no matter who's here, what would you gain by stopping RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard? You do realize these senators and representatives are freaking lazy people. You think these senators actually work hard for you? Because you know what they'd have to do? Let's say there was a big back and forth. That means they'd have to be showing up in Washington, D.C., sitting in those long committee hearings, making decisions. You think they want to do that? No. No, they don't want to do that. They're not going to do that. And the Republicans have a majority anyway, so guess what's going to happen? They're going to go on through. And before any liberal says, well, you just got to vote harder. Well, then Democrats give us something to vote for then. But, oh, wait, you can't do that. Think I'm going to sit here and tell my audience, oh, gee, guys, we got to vote for Democrats. No, absolutely not. So Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. in, and most likely there's a 100% guarantee, I'll be surprised if it doesn't happen, that they're going to be part of Trump's administration. You know what you got to do now? You got to be more constructive with your time, Democrats. And as I end this segment and continue on with the next segment for our live stream show, I'm going to show you guys just how incompetent the Democrats are. You're la resistance. It's so good to see all your pink pussy hat people out there melting down and seeing Warren and Sanders say, oh, look, they owned them. Did they really? They had 4 years on the Biden and Kamala to do what they wanted. They could have implemented some strong policies. They could have been rallying us, and they chose not to. It's now socially acceptable for them to get angry. Oh, how wonderful. They learn how to act again.